Portions of this program are brought to you by Fairview Park Hospital, a leader in healthcare for Dublin Lawrence and surrounding communities, providing specialty services through facilities such as our Sleep Center, Heart Center, and Women's Imaging Center.
Hi, I'm Chuck Harwell from Community Bank, and I would like to remind you that we're here to help you with all your financial needs. We can help you with loans for almost everything from getting married, buying your first car, getting ready for a new baby, buying a house, or going to college. You see, we're the bank that lives up to our name, Community Bank of Dublin Lawrence County. We're Community Bank of Dublin Lawrence County, where common sense banking never goes out of style.
I think everyone here knows Senator Walker, but doesn't really need an introduction. But Senator Walker was elected to the State Senate for Georgia's 20th District in 2015, and he represents the citizens of Blakely, Houston, Lawrence, and Pulaski counties. He serves as the caucus vice chairman for the majority party, and he's also a member of the Agriculture and Consumer Affairs, Appropriations, Health and Human Services, and Insurance and Labor committees. And he's an ex officio member of the Veterans, Military, and Homeland Security Committee. He's active in many community events and organizations here in Middle Georgia, and he and his wife have been married for 33 years, and they reside in Kathleen, Georgia. And also, I wanted to extend a special congratulations to Senator Walker on being named the 2019 Legislative Champion by the Service Providers Association for Developmental Disabilities.
It's great to be in Dublin Lawrence County with you all this afternoon, and I appreciate the sponsors for hosting this event and the Chamber for putting it together. It seems like it was just a few weeks ago that we had a eggs and issues type breakfast, and we're talking about what we anticipated in the upcoming session, and here we are. Now we've gotten through it, and we're going to review what we accomplished. It was a busy session. We had a lot of new faces, new governor, new lieutenant governor, new secretary of state, new insurance commissioner, etc. So it was a learning curve for those folks and for us getting to know them and learning what their agenda was, what their priorities were. But it was a productive session, and we got a lot of work accomplished. It was my 4th regular session, and plus the special session we had in November, so I'm starting to feel like an old hand up there. I can't believe it, so I've already been through 4 sessions. But it was hard, but it was productive. I think we did a lot of good things for Georgians, and I look forward to hearing from you all what's on your mind and what questions you have. I certainly appreciate Chairman Hatchett and his leadership, and really enjoy serving with him. And it's quite an honor to represent Lawrence County, and I hope you will call me anytime I can be of service. It's a real privilege to serve you in this position. Look forward to hearing your questions. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Bryant with Oklahoma EMC, and today I have the great pleasure of introducing Representative Matt Hatchett. Matt was born and raised in Dublin, Georgia. He is an Eagle Scout from Troop 68 and was an honor graduate of Dublin High School. He graduated from Presbyterian College with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Applied Mathematics with an economic emphasis. After his time with Delta Airlines, Matt decided to return home to Dublin. Back in his hometown, Matt had the opportunity to start and grow several businesses. Matt presently works as the Director of Development for Mercer University. He is a member of the Dublin Rotary Club and has held and continues to hold many leadership positions within Dublin Lawrence County since the mid-1990s. Matt was elected to the 150th House District in November of 2010. He serves on the House Appropriations, General Government Subcommittee, Economic Development and Tourism Committee, Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications Committee, Ethics Committee, Health and Human Services Committee, and the Rules Committee. Matt served as one of Governor Deal's floor leaders from June 2011 until September of 2013, when he was elected by his peers to serve as the chairman of the House Majority Caucus. And most recently, Representative Hatchett was reappointed to serve on the House Rural Development Council. Matt and his family are members of First United Methodist Church, and he and his wife Kim have two beautiful daughters, Emily and Camille.
Thank y'all. Well, you know, I get the question all the time, what are you going to run for next? And I say, nothing. They say, won't you want to run for Senate? And I said, no, why would I do that? And I think the only reason I would want to run for Senate is because I get to go first. So I don't have to repeat everything. But Larry, it's a pleasure serving with you always, and everybody always asks me, don't y'all talk all the time? So actually, no. The House is over here doing their stuff, and the Senate's doing their stuff. And we do communicate a lot more after crossover day because we need each other, but usually they're doing their thing and we're doing ours. And it is, I mean, you don't see each other unless at dinner or something else, something like that. But as Larry said, it was a busy session, but it did kind of seem like a really, maybe a slow start, and then it really took off, and everybody that was new got their feet on the ground and knew what they could do and were supposed to be doing, and got the right people in the right places. But I think it was a very productive session. The governor's really hit the ground these last few weeks, signing bills. And he's actually signing one at 3:30 today that I hope I can be at. I don't know if I'm going to try it or not, but it's a bill that has to do with our PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers, and pharmacies that I was very interested in this year. And but that's happening at 3:30. I don't know if I'll make it or not. Then he's going to be all over Southwest Georgia and South Georgia tomorrow and Friday, signing a bunch of bills in a bunch of different places. So he did sign the one bill that was probably I think the most important and biggest bill we did all year, and that was it's been called the Heartbeat Bill, the Life Act. It was signed yesterday. And, just to say that we all think that life ends when the heartbeat stops. So it seems to make common sense that life starts when the heart begins. So that bill is signed and it's law, and I'm sure there'll be many things that happen after that. I think our other representative that's going to be here in a little bit was very passionate about that, and he made several speeches concerning it. He may talk some more about it. But thank y'all for being here. We look forward to taking your questions.
First Lawrence Bank invites you to experience banking at its best. Whether you have personal or business needs, we're a full-service bank big enough to handle all of your banking needs and small enough to provide you with that personal touch you've grown to expect from a community bank like First Lawrence Bank. Looking forward to your future? That's First Lawrence Bank in Dublin and Dexter, member FDIC.
Spring is here and it's a great time to buy or sell your home or property. And great deals are popping out all over. So call agent Charlene Lamb, David Dees, Delton Lamb, Benny Helton, Jay Brantley, Raina Dubberly, Karen Whitmer, Jessica Granger, Jennifer Bradley, Ruth Watson, Sarah Colby, Jim Jarrett, Charlene Brantley, Jody Tanner, Yvonne Robertson, Pam Tillery, and broker George Durden today. And get the help you need when it comes to buying or selling a home or property. Log on to C21Dublin.com, call 272-1535, or stop by our location on Veterans Boulevard in Dublin today. Century 21 Durden Cornegay, broker George Durden.
What can we do to help rural Georgia with broadband? Well, there were mirror image bills that were introduced in the House and the Senate this year to address that, and we ended up with one. We're one that passed it, and it was SB 2, which is probably will have the biggest impact on broadband in rural parts of the state. And we allow the EMCs to get in the broadband business. And there was another bill also that verified or made sure that rural telephone companies could get in the business. We actually had some EMCs and some rural telephone companies that are already in the business. There was some gray area in the laws whether they could do it. So number one, we got that verified that they can. It makes them now eligible for a lot of the federal funds that are supposedly coming down for broadband and rural parts of the state and build up that infrastructure. There may have been some other legislation on it.
I don't have a whole lot to add to that. SB2 was a very good piece of legislation, and you would think it would have been an easy thing to push through, but it was a lot of work went into that bill. There was, the cable companies were concerned that the EMCs would cross-subsidize the internet business, broadband business with their power customers, so that's in the bill where they are not allowed to do that. But a lot of negotiating went into that, and I think that'll be helpful and position us, as he said, in a good position to get hopefully some federal funding. The other bill that sort of ties in a little bit with broadband, not exactly, but it's the small cell bill, and it streamlines pole attachment, the process for pole attachments and the fees for pole attachments to more or less to enable communities to get 5G on the cell phone. So that sort of ties into with broadband.
There was one other piece of legislation that had to do with actually funding some of this. The theory was to fund it, we would start taxing Netflix and some other of these entities like Netflix that are not being taxed, and that had a huge wall to climb over, and it did not go anywhere. But I don't think that's legislation is necessarily dead, but for now, it did get addressed. You want me to start now? This is kind of an all-encompassing answer, I guess. When I've kind of become very involved with healthcare legislation. Just since I've been up there, just with my family's background and you know, healthcare and the hospital here having such a presence in the VA, it's important to our area, obviously. So I've dug in on quite a few issues, and one issue that wasn't really related to that this year that I'll talk about later if I get the opportunity to. But my brother being an OBGYN, he always every once in a while he'll call and weigh in on some of these issues. And he likes to remind me, he says, you know, Matt, I don't have to take insurance. And he's right, because he's a private businessman that is practicing medicine. And, you know, now he's not because he wants to eat, but he says, please keep letting me do my job and be a doctor. In fact, don't tell me how to practice medicine. So that's the precursor of what I'll say. I know there's a problem with in the issue that was asked, because I've experienced it myself. You know, there is a fine line we walk there between telling people what they have to make and what they think they need to make. We've got several different people in here that fall in that category, and it's very frustrating that somebody else is telling you what you can make, what you can't make, so that you set your price and let people either come by or not. But something's got to be done. We did take up. We took up legislation, I think y'all did too, on the billing issue and the transparency and the timing of when you're supposed to receive medical bills. But I don't think we ever actually agreed on the same bill. So this will be the fourth year I know of this, and it'll come. We'll address it again next year. But the issue that always seems to come up on, for those people that aren't in that work, that they're working in the hospital and the hospital can't perform that function without them, or you don't want them to, then how do you set what they're going to make? It's digging into somebody's back pocket, so we've got to be real careful with that.
We call it the surprise billing issue, and like you said, I've worked on it every year since I've been up there. The problem, everybody agrees that it's a problem, and we try to figure out how to fix it. So if you go to the hospital and the emergency room doc's not an employee of the hospital and he's not in the network, well, it's an emergency. You don't have a chance to check all that out. Or if you call your insurance company and you get pre-approval for a surgery, you think everybody's good to go, the hospital's in network, the surgeon's in network. Well, the anesthesiologist may not be in network, so you get a bill, out-of-network bill. So where the rubber really meets the road, where the problem is what's a fair figure to pay these doctors and what benchmark do we use? There's something called the FAIR, F-A-I-R, it's an acronym for rates. We talked about paying 80% of the FAIR rate. Well, the docs love that, the insurance companies hated it, so we went down to maybe 65%. The insurance company thought that was good, and the docs thought it was too low. And then we talked about tying it maybe to some multiple of Medicare, 1.5 times the Medicare rate. But the problem just lies in these two, the insurance companies and the doctors not being able to get them together and agree on what is an appropriate benchmark for pegging that fee schedule 2. And what we're trying to do is get the consumer out of the middle and have the insurance company and the doctors work it out so the consumer's not hurt by it. It's something we'll continue to work on. Some other states have recently passed legislation to deal with it. I'm going to look over the off season to see what they've done and see if we can't maybe model something after what another state's done.
Hi, I'm Chuck Hartwell from Community Bank, and I would like to remind you that we're here to help you with all your financial needs. We can help you with loans for almost everything from getting married, buying your first car, getting ready for a new baby, buying a house, or going to college. You see, we're the bank that lives up to our name, Community Bank of Dublin-Lawrence County. We're Community Bank of Dublin-Lawrence County, where common sense banking never goes out of style.
I'm Marcus Clements with Clements & King Insurance. Are you confused about all the different plans available for those on Medicare? Do you understand Plan F or Plan G, prescription drug plans, or Medicare Advantage plans? There's never a fee for our service. Call Clements & King today with any question concerning Medicare-related health insurance.
Well, that's one that I hope will resurface. I mean, we're going to continue to work on it. As you know, we have a biennial legislative system, so any bills that were introduced this past session that were not voted down are still alive and still have potential to be brought back up. We had a bill on school choice. I don't know if you all followed that very closely. Some people call it a voucher bill. That bill may come back with some modifications. I'm on the Ag Committee in the Senate, and the Georgia Farm Bureau and the Poultry Federation pushed for a bill they called Right to Farm. I got several calls from people in this room on that bill. It deals with basically nuisance claims against the farmer and property rights, and that bill did not ever make it out of the Senate Rules Committee, so we've committed to work over the summer to try to see if there's something we can do to satisfy what the Farm Bureau and the Poultry Federation feels like they need. It basically flips property rights totally on its head, in my opinion. We have very, very strong protection for farmers, existing farms, against nuisance claims for changes to the surrounding property. So if encroachment comes on the farm and like a subdivision, the farm was there first, they really can't bring a nuisance claim. But what they were wanting is to allow the farms to expand and change their operations and move out toward other people's property and still have that protection. And I just didn't think that was fair to the surrounding property.
Year before last, it seemed like the legislation that did pass there were a lot of healthcare bills that didn't pass. But this year, several of our transportation-related issues did pass, and we had one omnibus transportation bill, and a lot of it dealt with transportation issues in rural Georgia. It got hung up and got tied in with the Atlanta Airport takeover bill that I'm sure many of you read about, and also the fuel tax credit for the airlines and commercial airports, strongly benefits Delta. So I know that those will be back under consideration. As far as I don't know where Larry was on the Atlanta Airport takeover, but we came up with what we thought was a pretty good idea, just to an oversight committee over the airport that did have subpoena power and audit power, which is more than just a little, committee. It did have a little power, and that didn't go anywhere. So we'll see what happens there. Of course, there's an FAA audit going on of our Atlanta Airport right now, and that it's a very important economic driver in this whole state. So we got to do what's very careful there. And I said, I think at Rotary, you don't take over a multi-billion-dollar machine like that without doing due diligence, and I think a lot of that's going on right now. So I know those will be back. Hope they're back. What HB 324 did was allow for cultivation of marijuana in a very limited limited area in the state. It's going to allow for up to 9.5 acres to be grown of marijuana in the state for the production of cannabis oil. Six facilities, growers, and 2 institutions that can't get into business. There's a lot of licensing and stuff that has to go in place. I am positive and feel 100% sure that they will be under very high security. I'm sure our sheriff is sitting right here hoping one doesn't end up in Lawrence County, but I know that there is an entity that would like to have one. All of that, and I don't know a lot of the details about access, but it's right now it's all still permitted by physicians. I mean, you have to have a prescription to get it, and a lot of controls are being developed to make sure that the products you're getting are what you're supposed to get. It is it's not totally uncharted because it's going on in some other states, but it's uncharted from a federal regulation standpoint. So you want to make sure that if you're approved to try cannabis oil by your physician, that you're getting what you think you're getting.
So I have concerns about the bill we passed. I actually voted no on the final version of it. My concerns were, my concern has always been it's illegal federally, and it's still illegal federally, and I feel like it's the responsibility of Congress or the FDA to change that. A lot of the information we get, it's very sad stories of children with epilepsy and having hundreds of seizures a day, and it really tugs on your heartstrings, but there's really not a lot of science behind it. And I was hoping that the Senate version that went to the conference committee it was even more restrictive than what we did pass, and it basically had the University of Georgia and Fort Valley State University would be the primary entities that would grow it and do the research and control it. It got opened up a little broader than I was comfortable with, and that's why I voted no. Our law passed that we've allowed for certain diagnoses people in Georgia to get a prescription for medical cannabis, and our law allows up to 5% THC, which is one of the highest levels in the country. That's a pretty good bit of THC. And there are health, a lot of physicians in our caucus and others that says it can damage your brain, and it is not proven to be, there just hadn't really been enough research, so I was concerned with that. I also did not like, at the very last minute, the way it was first written, no legislators or state employees could be a permit holder for growing it or processing it, and somehow that got changed at the last minute to where that a legislator could own up to 5% of one of these businesses. I don't know where that came from, Mr. Chairman, but I know not you, but I just I just didn't like that either. So and I had, Robbins Air Force Base is in my district, and that's a federal installation, obviously, and it just has a lot of implications. I mean, it's still against the law federally, so you can't have it on base, you can't have it in your system. It's a complex issue that I think the federal government has failed us in not addressing.
At Morris Bank, we understand that your personal finances and banking experiences can be stressful. We also know that it doesn't have to be that way. That's why for over 60 years, we've dedicated ourselves to providing common sense banking to people just like you.
Even when I started working here, there was a definite vibe that you felt when you walked in the door, from the music that you're always going to hear playing to the hello, good to see you, welcome, how can we help you? It's just a different experience when you bank here.
We work hard to combine the latest online mobile technology and top-notch customer service that allows us to do just that.
We realize our customers have choices, but what sets us apart is the personal service that we provide that they may not receive at larger institutions. We like to make you feel at home, and we like to make the process as easy as possible when you're banking with us.
But we're not focused on helping just our customers. We are equally dedicated to supporting the community we are a part of. Just this year alone, we've logged thousands of community service hours and provided significant financial support to the communities we serve.
Something that sets us apart at Morris Bank is what we give back to the communities in which we serve. And as the communities continue to grow, that brings more business and more industry into the area, and it's just this circle effect of giving back and receiving what the community can offer.
We want to make sure you have the best banking experience possible. Come see us or give us a call to find out what makes Morris Bank different, because we're banking on you.
Under current law, if a bank accepts public funds, and there's a bunch of bankers here, hope you'll correct me if I'm wrong, those have to be collateralized 100%. So if they take a $1 million deposit from a county government or a public entity, they have to have $1 million worth of assets to back that deposit up. So they can't lend those. It ties those assets up and doesn't allow them to restricts the amount of money they can lend out. This allows them to participate in a kind of a pool, from what I understand, to where they do not have to collateralize that deposit at 100%. So we passed the constitutional amendment last year, and it was on the ballot, and the voters of Georgia voted to approve a business score. And so this year we passed the enabling legislation to establish how that score will work. And it did pass, and the court, I think, is going to be in Macon unless that got changed.
I was sitting here trying to think if the governor signed it. I haven't heard that he's not, either way. But it's going to, I think it should open up some of our present court systems and some of these things that get put in our present system that get bogged down. It should open up some of that and hopefully allow some business entities to get some answers quicker so they can either do or not do what they've asked they have. So I think it's going to help speed up our court system. That legislation we passed a form of it, was it 2 years ago, and Governor Deal vetoed it just because of the outpour of opposition from the business industry. I don't know how we're going to thread that needle, but it gets threaded again to do that. And I'm not a lawyer, but a little bit about that is we don't have protected classes in this state where a lot of other states do. And I think that's one of the reasons that our passing legislation like this is really going to have to be fine-tuned to actually keep from offending some classes that already do exist. So, you know, I don't know that you'll see that, and the, you know, quite frankly, the media just gets. Some of the other states did it before it was something for others to oppose and other classes to oppose, and you know, we don't need conflict all the time.
So Governor Kemp is supportive of religious freedom legislation. He said that during the campaign, and he hadn't wavered on that. But he said he would sign a bill if it mirrors the federal legislation of Congressman Rowland that passed, I think, in '91. And he wants the language to be, from what I understand, pretty much exactly like that. We did have a senator that wanted to amend the bill with some religious freedom language, and it was not exactly like the federal language, and the governor, I think, signaled that that wasn't going to be wasn't going to be acceptable, and so had the bill been amended, it would have basically killed the underlying bill, so the senator, I think, withdrew the amendment. But that was really the only time it came up that I can remember. So we have passed legislation. There was some federal court ruling that we could tax internet sales, and we passed legislation to begin doing that. I think the threshold for an entity to have to comply with that is, I believe, 200,000 in sales, or maybe 250,000 in annual sales. But we are going to begin collecting. We've been collecting it, I think, from Amazon anyway, but some of their, the way they're structured, not all the people that sell through Amazon have been paying it. But anyway, I hope we're going to see additional revenue. And I just think it's a matter of fairness, really. Your brick and mortar businesses that have invested in the local community are at a disadvantage if somebody is able to sell into that community without having to pay sales tax. So to me, it's a matter of fairness, and I'm glad we're going to start doing that. There was a good bit of talk about Uber and Airbnb and other subscription type stuff, but that didn't end up going anywhere. Not to say that it won't come back up. The state revenues are doing very, very good. I'm happy to say, believe it or not, April revenues were up 24%, which is really unbelievable. But we're doing good with the revenue. I hope we're going to be in a position, I don't know why we wouldn't be, to be able to lower the state income tax top rate again next year to at least down to 5.5%, and maybe we could even look at lowering it even more. I'm not for raising taxes. I want you guys and gals to keep your hard-earned money in your pocket and not send it to Atlanta. But on this internet tax thing, I just think it was not fair to your local retailers.
I support tax on the internet sales and have since I've been there. Stood up when I was just a rookie in the caucus and shared my beliefs there simply because I happen to be a parlor in a bricks and mortar business. But the Uber Lyft tax got bogged down in the transportation stuff that I talked about in the Senate earlier. The budget, Larry, we had a great April. We needed a great April. We were the first 3 months in a row. The budgeted revenues were down. I can't explain why. I don't know that anybody can, but there was a lot of dynamics from the year before when the federal tax reform was coming down and things were just occurring that I don't think we foresaw when you were going to have. I think our tax revenue was actually inflated a little bit because people were anticipating what was coming there. So anyway, April was a great windfall for revenue and keep getting us back up to where we needed to be on the budget for the current fiscal year. So hopefully that will maybe not continue in such strong upward trend because you need to hold on to your money and then need to come to us. We're with the government. We're here to help. But I hope we can lower it at least to 5.5, maybe more. for the upper level income tax and probably, hopefully, carry that over into commercial tax too, but business tax. I think that's, that's being watched very carefully. Just didn't talk on the budget beforehand. We did have to pass a record budget, $27.5 billion of state funds. We put, I hope you've heard, we've fully funded education for the second K-12 education, the second year in a row, and have authorized a $3,000 raise for all teachers. The governor promised 5, and I'm sure that next year we'll be doing another 2. So we monitor what's going on with the revenue coming in. We also authorized a 2% increase for all other state employees. The couple other small things that we did do with the budget is, I can talk about our budget for a lot of people are falling asleep, but it's continuing to grow. We're putting a lot of our money into the healthcare system, like in education. Over 55% of the budget goes to education. There's only a small portion that's really goes to the majority of our agencies and divisions. So you find yourself really trying to maybe sometimes put out some fires that need to be put out. That definitely, we try to pay attention to things that are affecting our adoption and our children and things like that. So we're watching it, looking at it. They're looking at that all the time year round.
Oh, hey, you got one of those insurance apps too? You know how this thing works?
No, sorry. Not an app, it's my agent.
In this moment,
No, I'm fine, thanks.
it's good to know you have a trusted, independent auto owner's insurance agent who's there when you need them.
Great.
Man, I gotta get one of those.
Or Insurance in Dublin is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
So what makes OFTC a top choice for college? Here's why. You get hands-on training, and OFTC instructors have years of industry experience. You see, when you have access to that kind of knowledge, it makes a difference. And with financial aid, grants, and scholarships, OFTC is affordable. You can step into your new career debt-free. Think differently about college and make Coney Fall Line Technical College your top choice. Registration begins May 1st and classes start May 16th. OFTC is an equal opportunity institution.
I voted for the bill. I'm sure Larry voted for it. It's gonna, I know that the bids are actually, or the RFPs are out right now for new voting equipment. We put $150 million in the budget for new voting equipment for the whole state. A synopsis of it is that you will go in on a computer just like you do now. You'll vote like you do now. It will produce a hard copy ballot that you can then look at, read, make sure it's what you want and how you voted. If it's not, you can get it and go get the voting assistant to help you revote. And that vote doesn't count until you put that piece of paper in a tabulator that's going to tabulate what the votes are. Then the piece of paper is kept for audit trail, and the actual tabulator is what keeps up with the vote. Is that okay? So we're fully supportive of that.
I think for my district, economic development is still the #1 issue, and workforce development is so integral to that. Most of the business owners I talk to are with the unemployment rate as low as it is, are struggling to find qualified workforce. And I hope we will continue to put a major focus on workforce development, training getting the word out to our high school kids that you don't have to go to a 4-year institution to get a good job. There's a lot of really good jobs out there that might require a 2-year degree or a certification. And so I hope we are going to continue to focus on that, workforce development, economic development. Healthcare is going to continue to be a really big issue. We haven't had this question, but the governor asked for and we approved, giving him the authority to look into various options on Medicaid. As you all know, I'm sure Georgia is one of probably a dozen states that did not expand Medicaid when Obama was president. And we are wanting to look at a 1115 waiver, which a waiver means you don't take the full expansion or the full deal that is standard. So you ask for a waiver to allow you to craft a Medicaid program that fits for Georgia. And so the Georgia plan is what the governor is going to be looking at. We currently, in our Medicaid system, covers the aged, blind, and disabled. It covers pregnant mothers that are poor, and it covers poor children. So we currently do not cover able-bodied adults, or at least in theory we're not supposed to be covering able-bodied adults. One aspect might be to look at a waiver to allow us to offer coverage to the working poor and have a work requirement. So that's one thought. Another might be, let's see if we can offer Medicaid coverage for people with mental health disorders or with behavioral health disorders, and do that under a waiver. But we're wanting to try to see if we can't draw down some federal dollars, because we can't do it on our own. And as good as our economy is doing in Georgia, the cost for healthcare is just astronomical. And then the other aspect to it is a 1332 waiver, which is for modifications to the way we buy insurance, and allowing us to have maybe a reinsurance pool for high-risk people and take some Medicaid dollars to fund that pool so that the rest of the population gets a lower insurance premium. So the governor's, he just put out, I think, RFPs on that too, to start the process of looking into what options might work for Georgia on Medicaid, and I hope that's going to be successful.
I think I did answer this the last time we had this meeting, or maybe my blessing 2 times before. Like Larry said, workforce development is our biggest issue, especially everybody in this room. Healthcare is number 2, and healthcare is what I've really been focused on and what I was focused on this session. And I just, since I got the mic in my hand, I recognize this man a lot, but I'm going to recognize him again. Dr. J. Roy Rowland, who served this community for years and years and years in House and Congress. And he's still working for us, and I had the opportunity to recognize him this year from the House floor, and thank you for everything he's done. That was an honor for me, and I really appreciate him coming and allowing me to do that. But he was concerned about an issue 40 years ago, 40 years ago, which is certificate of need. When certificate of need first passed from the federal level, which was in 1974, and then he fought it being adopted by the Georgia legislature in 1977 or either 78, I can't remember. But what it does is it basically molds and is molding our medical community and what providers can provide and who can provide the health care, not individual physicians, but hospitals and surgery centers and other things like that. And it has developed, I could talk about this for hours, but it's become a very focused group of power players that are controlling it. And we've got hospitals in this state, rural hospitals, that are suffering, barely surviving. But, and their communities don't know it, their citizens don't know it, they don't know how bad they are suffering. But we've got hospitals in this state that are making hundreds of millions of dollars, adding that to their balance sheet, cash money. And they're non-profit hospitals that don't pay income taxes, they don't pay property taxes, and they don't pay sales tax. So it's my opinion that these larger hospitals and the smaller hospitals need to be letting everybody know what they're doing with their money. That was my fight this year, and we've succeeded in at least having them have to report on their websites all this financial information, and it'll be in a prominent place on the websites. It's also going to be in a prominent place on our Department of Community Health. I'll get Dr. Rollins chomping at bit to say something, but I did initially introduce legislation that would have totally gotten rid of the CON process. Of course, the lobby against that was huge. There were 6 hospitals in the northern part of the state that spent over $2.5 million fighting my bill with the television campaign. So it's big business, and the thinking is that, okay, how much money's enough? We know you got to make money to grow and maintain what you got, but let's maybe reduce your costs a little bit. Reduce costs for everybody. It'll reduce costs even for us. We've got a private hospital in our community, and they're making money, and they're paying all their taxes. But let's try to lower healthcare costs by driving, everything down. And I can go on and talk for many times, but Dr. Rowland wants to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to say something. Because I want to commend you, man, for putting a foot in the door to get rid of the need. It's an anti-competitive bill, as you say. It funnels money into large healthcare providing facilities and corporations that suck a lot of money out that should go to clinical care and go to rural areas. There are several states that don't have certificate of need, and there's no evidence that in any way that it held out the cost of care. And I would say by having a certificate of need. So I commend you for what you've done, and I hope you can move forward to get the whole certificate of need removed so that average practitioners can get out and open a business if they want to in a rural area, wherever, without having the competition from large corporations. Thank you for what you've done.
We cracked the shell of the egg is what we did this time.
Dublin Ford Lincoln, yeah, we're coming at you strong. Don't let them deals scare you, no, don't sound the alarm. Prices dropping so fast, you'll have to catch your breath. We don't mind you compare, we're gonna be the best. And no matter where you live, you need to come to our town. Not trying to brag, but we're the best deals around. Yeah, we're built for it, proud, and been tough since creation. Want your business so bad, you got it singing on your station. When others call you customers, then we call you friends. You know it's Dublin Ford Lincoln, we'll be your dealer till the end. Come on.
From humble beginnings with a desire to serve the Dudley community, Bank of Dudley has grown to 5 locations, serving Lawrence, Twiggs, and surrounding counties. Serving our community since 1905, the Bank of Dudley is looking forward to its 2nd century of community banking. Drop in today to any of our 5 locations: Jeffersonville, Dudley, East Dublin, Veterans Boulevard, and downtown Dublin. Bank of Dudley, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
We have another representative that just came in and joined us. This is Mr. Danny Mathis, and he is the representative of House District 144, which also covers a part of Lawrence County. So if you would, this is our first opportunity actually at the chamber here in the community to say welcome and thank you for your service. Help me welcome Representative Mathis.
This brought it up. At CON is going to be something that we're going to be attacking again, right? I hope so too. I was a little skeptical when I heard Matt talking about that earlier. He and I talked some about it because I was concerned about the rural part side of the hospitals. We know in that, what do they call that, District 3 up there, we know all those hospitals up there are so strong and they got money and they're not transparent, and Matt is really going after that. I would love to commend him, and I'd like for you to understand how hard he worked on that. I do appreciate that, Matt. And I agree with Dr. Rowland over here. We got to do something to this to get this more balanced. And I heard Larry talking about the Medicaid waivers. That's something that we're in, and I trust the governor, and I feel like we'll get something going on. But it's been a pleasure to work with these two. Larry over in our Senator 2 and y'all's, and then we got Matt. that we share part of Lawrence County. And he's been so graceful and helpful to me, because I'm an old rookie and I'm a little bit slow. But I do think that that's going to be one of the things that's going to be pretty big next year. I guess we touched one of the, I had the privilege yesterday of going up to sign the life bill, the baby bill, the heartbeat bill. I was so proud to be there when that went through the Senate push, the legislator. We worked hard. The author of the bill, Ed Setzer, did a great job. The governor's group just did a fabulous job. And to me, that is the pinnacle of what we as conservatives, if you are a conservative, are the moral values of this country, of this state, and this district. So when that was signed, that is showing that we are going to be morally fit. There's some political things that we disagree and go on, but there's some conviction things that we stand at together. And that's one of them. The Religious Freedom Act is going to be coming through again before too long. And that's something that's, it's really, it's got a lot of debate because of the business end of it. We get threatened from businesses, as we did, as Senator Walker, Senator Hatch know that we did on the heartbeat bill, that they were threatening to take things away and do these things. But I'm so proud to be in that caucus that we stayed firm, and the governor stayed so firm, and the lieutenant governor stayed firm. Because I believe if we follow the moral convictions that we all believe in this community, that we will be blessed and that we will do the right things, things will turn out for us. I really do believe that. So you asked me the deals that are coming up and all the things the legislature's going to go. I think Matt's is a huge one. I'm with him 100% on this. I wasn't to begin with because I didn't understand it. But he did such a wonderful job telling us what this is and exposing this. And you bit off a lot. But he did a great job, and I think as we move, as he said, we just cracked the egg. This has got to be done. This has got to be done for the survival of health care. It's ridiculous. I could just tell you a story that happened to me just a week ago with a big major nonprofit hospital. It's just story after story after story what they're doing. But that is a big issue. And we all know that this broadband is a huge issue. That as we've talked about, if that does not get done, it's just like back in the day in the 30s when lights came to rural Georgia. It's the same thing. And if we're going to survive, rural Georgia has to survive, the cities to survive. So we're going to have to push that. But I understand there's technology out there that's going to, put us into a situation where the cost won't be so much if they can get this technology developed. But we got to get it done. It's not something that we got to say, well, we may get this done. No, if we're going to survive as rural Georgia and get people back into rural Georgia to be farmers and forestry and all the things that go into these great communities, that's to me is one of the biggest things that we have got to keep pushing. And I hope Matt and Larry believe that too, and I know they do. And we've opened up, we've knocked down some barriers, as they say, to try to get it where they can get things in place to get it done. I'm learning. I'm a first-year guy. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed having colleagues like Senator Walker and Matt. They were great help. They do a great job for this district. They really do. And I hope that I can just add a little bit to them. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here